everyone, I just want to make a quick video tonight because an interesting thing happened, and it's something that's been on my mind for a while. You're probably going to hear fireworks and random explosions in the background. This has been nonstop in my neighborhood for weeks now, from about 6 p.m. to 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So it is what it is. I live in a city. It's a thing. But one of the things that is important to me, and when I came back into witchcraft, and especially starting to work with spirits, entities, demons, deities, that sort of thing, is I found myself deliberately not using the words gods and goddesses. I'll use deities instead, but I prefer, and this is in my own practice as well, is to the best of my ability, not use gendered language. So when it comes to working with spirits or demons or angels, spirit guides, ascended masters, things like that, deities, I find I prefer those terms because they are more gender neutral and inclusive, which is something, even though I'm a cis woman, that's something that's important to me. And I think that a little bit in the traditional witchcraft, it's still a little, divine feminine, goddess, 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 and stuff like that. And that's cool. I mean, I embrace my divine feminine, but that's not something I really talk about and espouse in my videos. So I'm not going to focus on making videos about a lot of ideas that would have traditional binary gender associations attached to them, because I find that aspect of traditional witchcraft and things like that to be a little antiquated. And really, when it comes down to it, I mean, even in some of the stuff that's more on the left-hand path, like the first time I read the Goetia, I was like, why are all these demons dudes? But that's the thing, is that you can probably hear my cat Corey singing in the background as well, is that as humans, we project, our construct of gender onto these entities. And that's great and all, but it's something that needs to change and evolve. Because as I've come to understand, if you're working whatever, spirits, demons, demonic spirits, whatever you want to call them, they're going to appear to you within your framework of visual understanding. So, Lucifer might appear to you as a woman, or neither, or a combination, or as a more male figure. So, and even physically, how a spirit might look to you is going to be entirely different as to anyone else on the planet, because we all have different visual frames of references within our lived experiences and what we have access to in the world. So, if you see a picture of Lilith and she looks one way, it might be easier for you to visualize Lilith looking like that. Or it just might come to you naturally. Or she might look different, or they, whatever. For me, Lilith mostly presents in a female body. So they can appear in multiple ways that might be different every time, slightly different every time that you work with them. So when you're working with whatever spiritual realm that you're working within, you don't have to imagine them as, binary gendered figures. Those figures can be anyone and anything that you choose to be. Now, in my pathworking last night, I was working in the astral realm, and I do a lot of work in conjunction with Lilith and Lucifer right now. And I've been pathworking a bit with the demonic gatekeepers and a little bit with Belial. I'm starting to work with Azazel now. And we went to wherever I was like, hey, can you hook me up with Azazel? That sort of thing. So that's, I don't know. That's where I ended up going in the astral realm last night. And one of the things I asked was about getting in touch with my own divine feminine. And the conversation that I had with these demonic spirits was so profound and really just kind of blew me away. I have my little journal, and I'm very proud of myself. Look at how many pages I've actually written in it so far. They're really thick pages, so it's kind of hard to see. I'm notorious for writing like 10 pages in a journal and abandoning it somewhere. So I came to them and asked about sort of the divine feminine. And it was mostly with Lilith and Lucifer. Belial was skulking around. Azazel said they would not show their true form to me yet. And from there, the conversation, Lucifer said, on the topic of gender, and that's a gender identity and that sort of thing, he said, I'm using gendered language, but Lucifer usually appears as a male to me, but we'll get to that. We are timeless. We transcend gender. How you see us is how you project your gender constructs upon us. We are beyond the binary, in infinite multitudes that you cannot even comprehend. We can change at whim as each person sees us. Belial popped in and said, binary gender is antiquated and fuck TERFs. TERF, if you're not familiar with the term, stands for trans exclusionary radical feminists. So, right on, Belial. Belial cracks me up because he gets like my sort of rebellious nature and sort of my general ethos on life. I don't know what everyone else's experiences have been with Belial, but he'll just pop in and say what he has to say and then just kind of bucks off and does his own thing. But so, and I remember kind of thinking within this thing, I'm like, wow, I was kind of like, Lucifer and the demons were like total gender rebels. And I was like, wow, they could be really progressive. And what was interesting also in it is Lucifer was like, as he was saying this, he's like, look, as I transform into, a more feminine body and things like that. And Lilith kind of did the same thing. So, again, it's... And I hope I'm not offending anyone with this video, but, I mean, I'm very... Gender is not just the collection of objects in your trousers. So, however you define gender is up to you. And also the demons have their own way and infinite multitudes that we can't even comprehend yet. So, more power to you. But, I don't want to get too political with all of this, but that's just something that has been on my mind. And when I came back, to things I am reluctant to use God and Goddess specifically, but now I'm learning that while sometimes I might refer to Lucifer as he or as Lilith or Lilith as she, that some of the other ones that I'm working with, I'm like, they. Like, Belial's more of a they to me right now. Or I'm not sure about some of the other ones. Again, it's how I project things and how I see things. And, realizing that they can transform at whim and appear as we need to see them is kind of comforting in a way. So don't feel, if you're in the occult studies and you're working with different deities and spirits and demons, don't feel like you have to stick to the binary gender construct. It's bullshit, like Belial said, and fuck turfs. And smurfs too. But that's a different story. Anyways. But thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. And thank you once again to my Patreon supporters. And I will be back with some more video content shortly. Mwah! Love you all.